Hi, it's Sherry from A Quilting Life, and I'm here with you today to share a tutorial for a mini log cabin block. These blocks are absolutely adorable. They finish at 4 inches, and they do use a specialty ruler, the Log Cabin Trim Tool by Creative Grids. I absolutely love this ruler, and I love these little blocks. Now, you might previously have seen a tutorial that I did using the larger Creative Grids Log Cabin Trim Tool. And I actually made this quilt, which is in my Labor of Love Scrappy Quilts from the Heart of Home book. This is my Laguna quilt. And I used this ruler, and I've previously filmed a video tutorial for that. But this little mini ruler is just a little bit different. It's not just that you're making a smaller block, you're actually using different size strips. And so I'm going to walk you through it step by step, and let's get started. Okay, we're going to get started. I'm going to show you step by step. I've already got a bunch of lights and darks cut into kind of the perfect sizes to go with using this 4-inch log cabin trim tool by Creative Grids. I'm going to do all my centers with kind of this yellowish greenish print, so I've got some of my centers cut, and I will have a little PDF for you that gives you the sizes that are good to use for using this ruler. The great thing about using this ruler is that these don't really have to be exactly, since you trim after each round of the process, but I feel that it really does help if you have some pieces cut in these particular sizes. It just makes everything go much more quickly when you're sewing. So I'm going to show you kind of step by step and how the process goes, and we're just going to go round by round. You want to start out with a dark center square and 2 lights, and one of the lights will be about the same size as your center square, and which is 1.5 by 1.5. The center square really kind of does need to measure right at 1.5 by 1.5. Other than that, they can be a little bit off. So, and then another light, and then we're also gonna just go ahead and place 2 darks here. And there are lots of different ways you can do this. You can make it completely scrappy. You can make the lights in each round the same fabric and the darks in each round the same fabric, or any combination that you want to. I think I'm going to make my lights all scrappy, and then maybe do both of my darks from one fabric in some of the blocks, and in some of the blocks maybe different fabrics but kind of in the same color range. So and I think we'll kind of go with this for my first round. And when you sew these log cabin blocks, you are going to sew one at a time, and it's really important that you press between each strip, or between adding each separate strip. So I'm going to sew these 2 together, and you always press out toward the strip that you've added most recently. So I'll press this out, I'll sew it with a 1/4 inch seam, press it out, and then I'll add this piece, sew it and press it out, and then we'll add the first dark, sew it, press it out, and add the second dark, sew it and press it out. So I'll come back after I've sewn this. I'll show you the front and the back, and then show you how we're going to trim our first round. Okay, so I've sewed my first light, my second light, my first dark, and my second dark. And as you can see, I pressed out. Every time I added a new fabric, I pressed the seam toward that fabric. And once you get 2 lights and 2 darks, it's time to do your first trimming. And this cute little ruler has, some of the squares they alternate dark and light, But if you look, there are little words that tell you round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, and so on. So we're going to start with round 1, and we're going to take that dark square on our little square and center it as well as we can. And you will trim 2 sides at once, and then you will flip your square, and still centering the round 1 square, you will trim your remaining 2 sides. Okay, so now our block is quite a bit smaller than before, but it's time to add our next round. And we're kind of going to repeat this process until we have a 4.5 inch block, which will make a 4-inch finished log cabin. So these are super fun. So I'm going to pick some different fabrics now because I'm keeping my lights really scrappy. And I think I'm going to go a little bit darker for my next round. I'm going to keep them the same though. So I kept the 2 light blues and now the 2 medium blues. So I'll do the same thing. You're going to add light 1, light 2, dark 1, and dark 2, pressing after each seam, and we'll come back and we'll trim round 2. Okay, I've sewed my next round, light, light, dark, and dark. And now we're going to trim the same way that we did, but we're going to use the round 2 square. We're going to center that round 2 square on our center square. Once again, we can cut 2 sides at once, and then rotate the block and cut the remaining 2 sides with round 2 square centered on our center. Okay, and so now we're going to add another round. So we're going to add a light. I'm trying to make this really scrappy, so I'm going to find a light that I haven't yet used. So light, light, and then we're going to go dark, dark, and I think we'll look at the navy this time. So we're going to have 3 different kind of shades of blue if I have a matching navy. And if I don't, I might switch it up. I think I have 2 of these. Okay, so same thing, go back one more time and we'll have our finished mini log cabin block. Okay, we're going to do the last little trimming here. We're going to do the round 3 square in the center. We're going to trim 2 sides once again, and then flip the block. And this time you'll notice that with the round 3 in the center, the 2 sides that you trimmed will line up perfectly with your template. And you can trim the remaining 2 sides. And once your block is the same size as your ruler, you have your finished mini log cabin. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the little tutorial for how to make a mini log cabin block using the Creative Grids Log Cabin Mini Trim Tool, which finishes with a 4-inch block. These blocks are a lot of fun, and I'm going to be making a lot of them this year and using them in some fun projects that I'll be sharing with you later. If you enjoyed this video, please share with a friend, hit the subscribe button and the like button, and thanks so much for stopping by.